Cassia, the latest master in Kingshot, just dropped a few minutes ago, and today I'm going to go over everything you need to know about one of the most pay-to-win master in the entire game. She is going to really make a huge difference for pay-to-win players in many ways, but as a free-to-play and low spender, there are still some very important things that you can do with her, including mostly her first skill. So first, how to unlock her, it's pretty much the same as every master. You come to this screen, and you will use these. As you can see, you get a lot of them every day, the journey supplies. You go into realm journey, and then you will simply just do journeying. So you will go in auto or idle or just do it manually. I prefer to do auto because it's twice as fast. And then you'll see, like me, I got something here that was Vikings, whatever, and then after that I met Cassia. Now once you have met her, you unlock her into the master's list. You see she is here. However, you will need to spend quite a lot of these journeys in order to get her to 1000 and then unlock her. However, if you have been saving up this adventure supply, or if you're a pay-to-win player who has been buying them, you will be able to go directly to Lost Land as soon as you've seen her, like me. Then you choose a master up here and you go into Cassia, you select her, and then you can spend these guys, and you can still do auto or idle, and into her specifically. It didn't take me very long. I already have her unlocked, so it took me less than 20 of those little blue backpacks. And here we go. Now Cassia is going to enter my little city, and here she is. Let's see what it looks like. Pretty cool little table. Now let's talk about why Cassia is so good, and really who is she good for. So her passive skill here is going to be pretty decent, but nothing to go crazy about. This will allow you to increase your squad size. So when you're joining a rally, when you're doing open world content with solo marching, when you're joining people's rally with your solo march, you will be able to bring more troops. So up to 10,000 more troops. This means that when you're participating in event content, rallies, whatever, you're having a larger percentage of the rewards or the action, let's just say, which can be good in some cases, but it's not something that makes a huge difference all the time. It's good if you want to fill like the castle with TG5 or TG3 troops all the time, then less people are needed and stuff like that. So it's not the biggest thing in the world, but it is something. It's her passive, so you will unlock it over time, and it is good for sure. Now, the skill that really makes her important for lower spenders would be Recruiter in Chief. So this skill is going to allow you to train a certain amount of troops for free. So up to 600 at level 10. And also it will give you some soldier medallion. So this is if you lose troops, if your infirmary is full and you lose troops over that. So this is the way to get some of the troops back. This is a situation that any player should try to avoid, but if you get attacked by whales and stuff like that, it might happen. Or if you attack people's city outside of KVK and you let your infirmary go really high. So you should never let your infirmary go high. You can batch heal. There's a whole video I made on that, and it will be impossible for you to lose troops that way if you follow that trick. However, if you do, the soldier's medallion will help you out by making it much more easy to recover some troops. Now, of course, there's a pack that comes with her when you unlock her, and it is a very good value pack. However, what is really going to be cool here is now you can see when I come to my stable and my infantry and archer range, you'll see that I have this little icon, and boom, I clicked on it and she recruited 150 archers, and that's it. So that's every day. And of course, I should get it as high level as possible before doing that. But it recruits the highest tier of troops as well. So you can see I have no lower tier. Like, it's really only the highest tier that I have. So it will add up. If you're thinking about it takes, 12, 13 hours to train 1000. When you have her at higher level, you're going to be able to get 600 more every day. Now, it's a small amount, but if you play this game for a long time, and especially if you're free to play, this is going to be something that really, really does add up. So it is going to be a very, very powerful skill for her. And it is something that everybody should try and level up a little bit, of course, without going crazy expensive, because if you are a free to play, there are much better masters to give you high level rewards than her. But while if you are not a free to play, if you're a spender, medium, high, or of course a whale, she is going to be the most important master to invest in for obvious reasons. All of her other skills are power related, and this one increases the attack and defense of your squad when you are in basically any kind of content, like all the time. It's just pretty much at any PvP event that you're doing. If you're fighting in any way, she's just going to be increasing the attack and defense of your troops. So it's not the end of the world because the stats are not as high. Like, it's still 10%. It's not like hundreds of percent, but it adds up quickly when wells have everything maxed, and when you're doing fighting and stuff, like it's a really good amount, and it is going to be, you know, a good boost. This is pretty much the same thing. You are getting lethality and health, so up to 10%. So overall, she gives 40% worth of stats. So if you think about how much you need to get from gear or from charms or whatever, like it's worth a very decent chunk of stats for sure. But if you're free to play, you are not really ever using your stats because you're joining people's rallies and stuff and joining people's garrison. So I would really not touch any of that whatsoever, except maybe level 1 or 2. But after that, it's really not going to be worth it. However, if you're into PvP, into KVK, if you're someone who's rally leading, if you're someone who's in Swordland also attacking and rally leading or garrisoning, this is going to be very important and very strong because it buffs everything you do everywhere all the time. Now, the skill that really makes her busted for Wells, in my opinion, is going to be her last skill, Inspiring Mobilization. This increases the rally capacity by up to 100,000. So this is a very large amount. It's similar to like your command center in your city. And not only is it insane, I mean, it's also 20 levels, so it's a very large investment, but it is going to make a huge difference. When you think about Castle Battle and the towers, rallies are capped at 1,000,000 something. Well, this is almost 10% more cap, which means that if a well has like 5 to 10% more troops than the garrison, because the person in the garrison doesn't have a rally squad capacity as high, well, this means that you are having a large advantage in terms of the amount of troops you're bringing. So this is going to be the biggest deal of her. And again, this is going to be a skill for rally leaders and wells. Every other player, you want to get this skill as high as you can when you can. It is very decent. It's really good value, but anything else here is really just going to be for spenders and pay to win. She is a purely pay to win power battlefield command hero, and that's why she is, you know, the battle master. And again, also her stats here is lethality and health, two extremely good stats. So leveling her up to a very high acquaintance, you'll see, you get almost 20% more of these stats. So all in all, she's a very strong PvP boosting stat hero and a very decent daily buff for your troops. So you get more troops and also recuperate more troops if you need to, and as well as the extra little capacity so that when you join a rally, you have a little bit more troops, which is very good for all types of players for sure. However, other than that, it's not a hero that you really want to master. So if you are free to play, Pan is by far your best friend. You're getting daily value from stamina, but especially you're getting daily value from Watchtower and from the amount of construction speed up that you save here, as well as this mastery badges, which is worth quite a lot of money overall on the long run. So Pan is for sure your best friend on top of all these chests, which I've opened hundreds of them and gotten like dozens of dollars worth of items every time because there's a lot of good stuff in there. And then afterwards, Valeria with her hammer here, by far the best skill in the game. You must max this as soon as you can if you're non-well. Even if you're well, doesn't matter, anybody. And then this one also extremely powerful. As you can see, I've maxed both of them. I've maxed other stuff, but I also am a spender and a rally leader in some instances. But again, this is here, like this is it for free to play. Afterwards, you kind of look at here with some of these skills, which are also pretty decent. And Cassia would be in the same range with this skill, where you would be thinking about, maybe investing a little bit in here, especially when it's cheap at the beginning. You don't need to do too much, and it will be worth it for that. Now, one thing to remember is that you are going to be able to get a lot of points for doing master leveling. So you shouldn't be leveling on your masters too much. As you can see, I have gotten a lot of points because I leveled her up to level 20. And in Alliance Brawl, Master's Emblem and Master's Manuscript are giving a lot of points during day 1. As well as I think even day 2, as you can see, and maybe even some other days. I don't think day 3, but I think day 1 and 2 for sure. In KVK, you get points for speed up, which means when you're spending speed ups for researching the skills. And then on day 2 and 3, you're getting points for Emblem and Manuscript. So you would like to go into Cassia and do this research here, and you can queue it up and then you can research it and speed it up. And I'll do it just for the video here. But let's say I queue up something like this. Then it'll go, and then I would use speed ups on day 1 of KVK, and then on day 2 the skill would then be leveling up with this. You could level it up by the manuscript, as well as this is where you would gift her stuff, and then I can do it just here as well for the video, but you can see that I'm going to gift her a few things here. Luckily I have quite a lot of stuff to spend, and then when you come here on the relationship advancement, you can spend these tokens and unlock her and her other skills. However, you can see that it's very expensive. Even for a spender like me, I really don't have that many. You need to really buy them to get a lot, so it's really good to save them. Currently, because as I said, it's Alliance Brawl, I am getting points, so it's not completely wasted, but I'm not going to do more than this really yet because I will wait for KVK to get the maximum amount of points. And if you saw my latest videos, well, the importance of KVK prep, winning it, even though it's not the ultimate goal, winning the KVK is the best thing ever, but winning the prep is a huge advantage because if you win the prep, you don't lose your castle, which is massive for your entire server. So this is something why winning prep is very important. Now, one last thing to mention about Cassia is that she is pretty much the exact same as her whiteout survival counterpart, which is called Romulus. So Romulus is also a late game, heavily PvP focused hero. However, one thing to note is that the next upcoming hero in whiteout survival will most likely be the same upcoming hero in this game. As you can see now, it's 4 out of 4, so there's a check mark. But eventually it will be 4 out of 5 and there will be the new hero. In Whiteout Survival, the next one is called Baldur. In our game, I don't know what it's going to be called. But what I do know is that the next master is going to be Alliance event focused. So events like Alliance Mobilization and Vikings and stuff like that will give you a lot more reward. So the next master is actually a hugely better investment for low spender and free to play. While Cassia is pretty much a heavily spender, only hero that most low spenders and almost no free-to-play will really touch at all. Again, except the first skill a little bit if you can. However, note that she is much more expensive to level than previous heroes. All of her skills here have like level 20 and stuff. She requires a lot more emblem to level up. So she is not worth it for low spenders, but is absolutely amazing for whales. So just something to keep in mind. And don't go spending everything you have on her. Make sure to max out Pan and the other heroes that we currently have, but also make sure to save some for the next master because the next master is really going to be worth it for you. Hopefully this guide was helpful to you. If you have any other tip on masters, please share in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you on the next video.